Hi guys, thanks for viewing in. We're just going to start this video out real quick with an introduction of what the sections are. Here's the price after hours, down 1 cent, $6.48 for Lordstown. And here's the look at the chart. And you can see here that we had a peak there and we started falling at the end of the day, and it looks like we had a contraction in the Bollinger Bands, which was followed by a downturn. Then we violated the Bollinger Bands here, and we got a slight uptick, and then we got another downtrend, the parabolic downtrend. Just to give you an idea of what the stock looks like, here's the 5-day chart. This is the appointment of Dan Navaji, and this is where we are now. So going into the opening on Monday, you guys are probably already there on Monday. This is down slightly. The parabolics are down. The Bollingers have widened. However, I was looking at some other technical indicators, and I think the support is 602. I think the trend's up, and I think the trend's positive, and there might be another technical. I'm not a big technical analyst on stocks, but the point is there are a couple positive indicators that are bullish and very bullish out of these numbers. So all in all, not a terrible performance for the stock. You can see the run up, and then we've been kind of floating along this line here, 648, and it may do so for a while. Anyway, I'm not really into this kind of stuff. That's the chart, that's the price. Let me just tell you what's in this video. We're gonna start with a section on Icahn and Lordstown Motors and the CEO and what their relationship is and what it means for Lordstown. Then we're going to do a profile of the new CEO, Dan Navaji, of Lordstown Motors, and what I think, how he fits. Then we're going to do stock price projections, and we're going to do some probabilities on the success of the venture. And then we're going to close out with some things that have been in the news that I think are relevant, that are very weird coincidences that just happen to happen. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, guys. Thanks a lot. Please like, and you guys, you gotta, if you're Lordstown or you like this kind of information, you gotta subscribe, you gotta like, you gotta comment, because I gotta get up in the algorithms to get this information out, and to make more information like this, I gotta get my subscriber count up. Okay, don't be tight with your clicks. All right, here comes the video. Thanks for watching. Hi, this is MXUX. This is a video about the new CEO at Lordstown. I think it's very exciting. I'm just going to refer to him as CEO till the end to make this simpler to follow. So we're talking about the new CEO. His association with Carl Icahn is critical but unknown at this time. He's been called his sorry, got to do this correction here. Getting comments on my corrections. Anyway, he's been called one of Icahn's lieutenants. Now, Icahn is, one of the titans of Wall Street, and he started, and he was doing green mail, and he's been, buying majorities in these companies and turning them around, and activist board member and kabillionaire. Okay. Just to give you a bit of a background on Carl Icahn. And let's just move forward. A lot of his present holdings are in oil and gas. Okay. And anyway, we have here iconoclastic, looks to disrupt boards and companies, makes big concentrated billion-dollar bets on firms he feels that are cheap. Now, I think that's something that, because, Lordstown's $1 billion. I mean, Icahn could, not saying he would, technically take Lordstown private. Now, let me just tell you this. The new CEO at Lordstown was on the board of Hertz. And Icahn was an investor in Hertz. Now, Hertz went bankrupt, the black swan of the virus and so forth. He also invested, Icahn, in other car parts and other companies that the new CEO was involved in. So, it's unknown at this time what their association is or what their relationship is. I don't think Icahn has any bad blood with anyone over Hertz, and he made a lot of money. He just recently bought Allstate at 50 and sold at 150, or bought it at 90 and sold at 150. So he's making plenty of money. But this is just to point out that the new CEO has been involved with many of the companies, Carl Icahn. So so that sets a precedent, okay? Carl Icahn could get involved. Icahn is seen as a turnaround player, okay? Now here's some interesting stuff that came out of a recent interview. Icahn believes alternative fuels are here to stay, cleaner air, turning refineries to produce alternative fuels. This is, hydrogen's a side product of oil and gas refining. And so Nikola, and again, there is a case for Nikola. What's his name that's under indictment? He was selling an inkjet printer model where the trucks were the MacGuffin, the fueling system was the real product. Anyway, Icahn is big on that. That's one way the oil and gas industry could pivot, is to go to making hydrogen. I don't know how environmentally sound that would be there, but it is difficult to make hydrogen. Anyway, let's move on. The relationship and or association between Icahn and the new CEO is a key factor. So I think this is a big deal. It could result in a massive round of funding for Lordstown Motors via Icahn Enterprises, Icahn Capital. What form that would take? Would it be convertible bonds? Would it be, a purchase, private purchase, something similar to the YA, structured similar to the YA deal with revolving capital? Could he buy the company? The permutations are endless, but Icahn certainly is looking to invest. He's pretty much in between deals now. Anyway, having to do with the Allstate deal. So, and this new CEO is considered one of his lieutenants, and they've been involved in projects together. So, Icahn is looking to get into new energy. Do the math yourself. The new CEO. Okay, I have down here, he's an operator, an executor, understands manufacturing, automated manufacturing. He had mentioned specifically he's a fan of the hub motor technology, so he understands it. He mentioned it in his first remarks. I think this is probably a selling point to him for taking the job. He thinks it's important. And, he understands the repair part market and auto maintenance, and he can look at the hub motor through that prism. Anyway, big on the hub motor. He's probably worked in more established markets where there are longstanding customer relationships. So that could be a negative, Hertz as an example. But he understands new media to an extent. I have down here, not a Luddite. He will lean on marketing consultants and staff, I suspect, for guidance. So, in other words, what I'm saying here is he hasn't really worked at a lot of startups. He's worked at a lot of turnarounds, which is kind of a startup. But, in this case, Lordstown, I guess you could say they have an existing customer base. much like a Hertz or a Mogul, the other company he ran and so forth, had. But he's going to have to rely on marketing staff and consultants, because he's an operator and an executor, and he understands new media. There was an interview he did where he's talking about getting a company up to speed on new media. But, I don't think developing new markets or, this product launch is, specifically in his wheelhouse, but everything else is. Okay, so let's move on from that. Anyway, I think that's probably a weakness, but overall, the pluses outweigh the minuses on this CEO. He's focused on executing the start of production and the certification. All right, so obvious. And he said it's absolutely necessary for a new investment. I'm sure that Icahn or his consultants internally, as an example, Kathy Wood, as another example, although she may have broken this rule recently. She bought a SPAC that's pre-acquisition. Anyway, they have a rule of thumb, they got to have a product. And so he's got to get this product out and certified. I'm sure they have bylaws or something, or rules of thumb they follow. They say you got to have a product. Okay, so he knows you have to have this product out, and that's his main intent right now. And he is an executor. He knows how to do this. He understands manufacturing. They have a line of credit, so I think that he's going to do this. But absolutely necessary for a new investment. Okay, and I think he's talking about Icahn Enterprises here, myself, or Icahn himself. So he's probably told him, look, we're not going to invest in this thing until we're sure it can get up and run. All right, let's just keep going a little further here. Icahn relationship unknown continued. Icahn will not publicize any involvement in Lordstown. There will be no notice before the investment, likely, if there is one. I mean, this Allstate deal he just did was for, a massive amount of money. No one knew about it. So he can, he's like Oz behind the curtain. We don't know. They may be talking now, or they may or may not publicize it. I suspect that the CEO has viewed the potential sales numbers at LMC, and he has evaluated the competitors, namely Ford Fleets is the number one. And he's reviewed the inventory at Lordstown, and you can read chips here, and the facility, and views it as an opportunity, a turnaround, just what Icahn looks for. So the point is, this guy has done, he's been a candidate. He's probably had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. He's been given all the goods, and he's given it a thumbs up. And he's an Icahn guy, and they know turnarounds. So this is very positive. These idiots with this Fraudstown Motors can finally shut up, okay? Because Icahn, just someone tangentially involved with Icahn getting involved with a company, it's not a fraud. Could he have discussed any of this off the record with Icahn and his staff, the sales and stuff? Probably would be insider information. Does Icahn take his calls? I don't know. We're going to go over this later. It's unlikely I have here that he would not. I mean, if you look in reality, private conversations, I'm sure there's some talk behind the forget insider information. was the CEO, the new CEO, telegraphing anything when he said no funding will happen until we start production and have a product? You know, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to stop this segment here, and we're going to move on to the next segment here in the next group. Okay, this is MXUX back. Sorry about that Z on the screen. Shortcut key. Now we're going to go over about the new CEO. And again, this is the CEO of Lordstown. I'm going to call him CEO for now. I have down here experienced at the apogee of his career, height of competence and skills. So he's prime time. I won't say it's all downhill from here. I don't want to say that, but I'm just saying he's really at the peak of his skills and powers. He's Yoda-like. He does have an entrepreneurial spirit in the sense of turnarounds. So he's a corporate guy and board of directors guy and public company guy. But, you know, he's been involved in turnarounds in that sense. So, anyway, he's at Icahn Enterprises. And anyway, this whole thing is, it pushes his risk profile up and makes him a better match for Lordstown Motors at this stage in its growth. And I've talked about risk profiles in my past resumes. I don't mean financial risk. I mean, you know, personality traits. He's got a higher risk tolerance. And so he's an operator, and he's got a higher risk. He's a higher risk tolerance, the executor, implied high risk profile I have here, relevant, significant operating sector experience. So he's a fit. You know, could there have been a better fit? Maybe, but I don't think they would have gotten anyone with better financial gravitas or connections in the, you know, investment banking world than the CEO they have now. So I have down here reputation, connections in high finance, has gravitas, brings it to, you know, Wall Street will take this guy's calls. And right now, these bankers and everybody on Wall Street, although there's a lot of institutional investors now, you know, a lot of these guys, you know, they won't touch a stock till it's over $10. And again, this whole SEC product thing. So we have to get this started production. And again, it's got to start, and it's got to be certified, and it's got to satisfy the SEC and the Department of Justice before we're going to get any, you know, third-party funding because of this whole SEC thing. So, and also I have down here, and this is important, a product would also take the muzzle off Lordstown with regard to sale and production model numbers. So anyway, in summary, you know, the CEO, he's actually, you know, I would say he's a fit from a recruiting standpoint, definitely. And he, you know, Lordstown, like a quarter equals a year, or maybe even more than that. But let's just say, if you're looking at 4 quarters, that's 4 years in a regular company. So Lordstown Motors is, you know, 6 years old now or whatever. So you have to look at it in that standpoint. So at this stage, they're past, you know, they're easing out of entrepreneurial. So he's a fit. Anyway, and he knows what he's doing with this production, of course. I have down here Angela Strand, interim CEO, chairwoman, Lordstown Motors. Got to be given credit for her CEO placement. You know, she was involved in this. Bully for her. She's a major asset. I think, you know, she's made all the right moves in this critical time. She's someone, and I got CEO continued here. Her contributions will be valuable now. I believe she is someone to watch. Okay. And in the new energy economy. she's right in the center of the storm. She's smart, and she's got some patents of her own, and she's involved in some key industries, I think. So what she does in the future, I think everybody should pay attention to. I also have down here bully to Steve Burns and Julio Rodriguez, the CEO, CFO that were forced out. They accomplished less in less time, 10 months, with less money. They had a $1 billion SPAC. You know, you look at Rivian, they've been at it for 12 years. What, 100 billion? Who knows? And they've accomplished everything that their competitors are trying to do, and some have been working for 10 years. They beat everybody to the punch, Burns and Julio Rodriguez. So again, with a quarter being a year, 10 months is, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 8 years worth of work in 10 months. Something like that. You guys can do the math on that. So, a lot of people are talking these guys down. I'm sorry, I disagree. And so, boxing metaphor. I like this. Everybody has a plan, then you get punched in the face. That's what Tyson said. And Burns and Rodriguez took the punch for LMC. I believe they were unfairly accused by the SEC and Department of Justice and the business press and Jim Cramer, and anyway, I think they got a raw deal. But if you look at this timing, a quarter equals a year, it could be time for a rotation in management. It makes sense. Anyway, I have down here, everybody at LMC is now standing on their shoulders, okay? So I'm going to stop this here, and we're going to go into this section next. Okay. Now, I've done some math here, and I'm gonna go over this later. My methodology this isn't just guesswork, but it's also not anything totally kosher. Okay, let me just have some coffee. It's very early here. Before the news, I'm going to put, this is chance of success of Lordstown Motors I have here, and I'm going to make some stock price projections. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advice. This is a case study, and this is an experiment, and this is something I do. I'm going to explain it later. Do not count on this to make financial decisions. Seek professional advice. This is a risk-on investment, and also a high-risk investment. Could result in catastrophic losses. All right, you got that? All right. Chance of success at Lordstown Motors and stock price projections. Okay. Before the CEO placement, I was at 51% chance of success for Lordstown Motors. So more, split, but leaning towards success. Definitely could succeed. Okay. I'm going to add 5% for getting a CEO. Okay. We're going to add 5% for the risk profile and the skill and risk profile of the CEO, and this could even be higher, okay? And we're going to give 5% chance of additional chance of success for potential funding enabled by the CEO gravitas and connections, okay? So I go from 51% chance of success to today, I put it at a 66% chance of success. And this is pre-funding, pre-startup production, pre-certification. Okay? So it's definitely gone up with the new placement. Now, I'm going to go over the stock price projections. And not many people do this on the internet, I see, but I'm going to do it. And this is an experiment, and this is a case study, and this is not financial advice. I had a previous price target under the previous conditions without a CEO of $35 to $36 a share. I believe that was the fair value for, despite the trading price for Ride stock. After the successful start of production and certification of truck, I have a price of $107 to $142 a share without dilution. Okay? And I believe these are very similar, almost the same numbers as I had previously, although the chance of success has gone up markedly. Now this is without dilution. If they use the rotating line of credit, which there is a possibility they may do, and I have down here a 10% dilution, and that is the rotating stock for cash basic line of credit they have with YA, and this is going to add additional stock. If they do the whole thing, it's about 10%, I believe. It might be less, but let's just ballpark the dilution at 10%. So if they have to raise funding before production or during production, start of production, the price of the stock is going to go down to $96 to $128 a share on the upside. So without dilution, 107, 142. With dilution, 96 to 128, and I think this is fair market value. And before the start of production, successful production, 35.36. Following the start of production, and this would probably go into, well, I don't know. It depends if the SEC is going to let them talk about it, because Ford's talking about all their pending orders. Or these guys are all afraid of getting arrested, or it's like Damocles' sword hanging over everybody's head. They can't say anything about any numbers at all. So, would sales reporting follow? Would reports of pending sales follow? This is gonna up this stock price even with dilution. So, and I think this is actually at this price, or this price, but let's say this price. I think this is a fair PE value, really a benchmark value. I think it can go up from there. It's my opinion. Okay. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Conduct your own due diligence. Consult a professional before any investment. Ride stock as a pre-revenue SPAC and could result in catastrophic losses. Understand this very real risk, okay? That's that. Now, the success percentage of the stock price and the stock price considered. And so I'm going back to the chance of success, which we have now at 66%, pretty high. Okay, we could have a black swan event. Okay, we could have the SEC DOJ say it's not a kosher corporation. The macro economy, they're going to start tapering, the pandemic, so forth. So that's one thing that could affect the success percentage. Now, Tom Lee, who I am a big fan of, although he was a bit worried about the Fed notes, but on the whole, the macro environment, Tom Lee is very bullish. I think Tom Lee is really at the top of the game when they're talking about the macroeconomic and Bitcoin and a whole lot of other things. So it's a risk-on market according to Tom Lee, at least in the whole. There might be bumps up and down, maybe not, maybe, more risk, no risk, more risk. But the trend is risk on, and this is a risk on stock, meaning when you're looking for growth stocks versus blue chips or, defensive stocks. There is infrastructure spending imminent. That is a catalyst for LMC. All these municipal sales, all, these cities and the government, the federal government also. So and the infrastructure spending in general with the the chargers they want to put in, and the push for electric, and all of these other things. And by the way, I am not mentioning the Advanced Technology Manufacturing Loan Program of the government. I think the odds of getting that are very low. They, in the past, have always favored Ford Motor Company over anyone else, and I mean, it's great if Lordstown gets it, the 250, 280, could be much more. I think Tesla got 500 million, but you cannot count on that loan coming through. That is a political instrument, okay? All right, moving forward, they have a potential advantage with the chip inventory, production without reduction, and that's a big deal. I think that's true. So you have, if you just go through these, you got 3 potential negatives, 3 potential positives. These are outside of the operations of the company. I think these cancel each other out, okay? And that's just my way of thinking. So let's just forget about outside influence. So I feel that they're going to, there's a high percentage chance they're going to get to startup production. The sales production numbers will dictate stock price going forward. Startup production will have to start on schedule as paramount. Successful execution is essential. So this is the pivot point, and the new CEO knows that for everything. Now, if the start of production is delayed, 1 quarter, which is a year in Lordstown Motors time, I think that's going to be, I think everybody expects that might happen in the back of their mind. If we are delayed more than a quarter, I think that this could damage the stock price. It could revert back to lows. People could pull the switch on it, okay? I put the chance of this happening, of it taking more than 1 quarter, and this is the inverse of the chance of success, at 34%. So there is a 34% chance that they are not going to make startup production within a reasonable amount of time. So that's a pretty big percentage, but you've got 2/3. The odds are what? 2-1, 3-1, whatever, 2-1. I think, but you do have this chance of failure at 34%, and that could take the stock down from those numbers. So what do they got? They got a quarter, which is a year in Lordstown Motors time. This is what the new CEO has to do, okay? And again, I've removed all the outside influences, and this is just based on all the internal factors. Now, I just want to explain for a minute, all these numbers and other things, they're based on an adaptation of simplex linear programming, which I used to know how to do, which I really don't, I can't really do math anymore. But anyway, just to give you an idea, when you do simplex programming, you're trying to fit a mathematical model based on some inputs from reality, and you're trying to construct, it's like a word problem, and you're trying to translate that word problem into a mathematical algorithm or an equation, and then you're trying to solve that equation. And I have down here linear programming, okay, but slack variables. And anyway, what you do is you kind of figure everything out, and you do a bunch of iterations, This is not simplex programming, but I'm just trying to give you guys just a little bit of insight into what I'm basing this on. So that is my prediction of the stock price and chance of success and what the outcome will be. Now, this next section is going to be on the new CEO, Dan Navaji, and we're going to just pause right now and go into a new section on that. Okay, this is MXUX back again. Now, I've spent many hours on the phone with people when I used to be a recruiter. Anyway, I like to hear what their voice sounds like. I found this recording. You guys might have seen it. Excuse me. This is when Dan was at Federal Mogul. I'm going to try to play this. Let's see if it'll play. All right. Okay, we know that's working. Let me just turn this volume down here. Sorry, guys. Okay.
So at Federal Mogul, we've been around since 1899. Our focus has always been on producing the greatest quality parts, OE quality or better for the independent aftermarket. But the aftermarket is changing. It's not just about making great parts anymore. It's providing services and solutions to our customers. And a lot of those solutions are around supply chain. Our customers need great inventory availability at low cost. And so we've invested a lot of money. We're going to continue to invest in building the best supply chain and IT capabilities in the industry. We're also expanding our digital presence. Our website is the front door to our business. And so we know consumers and installers and our customers go onto our website. So we're doing a lot to strengthen our IT platform. Everything from sophisticated order and vendor management systems to global brand websites, a state-of-the-art e-catalog. We're in a new world in the aftermarket, and we have to keep up.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it there. Okay, in my opinion, looking great, sounding great, inspiring confidence, great speaking voice, very polished and great appearance. So on all those levels. So, could he been more techie? Yeah. Could he have been more startup-y? Yeah. Could he have been in a lot of other things? Yeah. But you know what? This is a very strong candidate. I can see why he was picked for the position. Now, I just want to go through a couple other things here that a lot of people might have missed in the news that I actually think are quite critical regarding Lordstown Motors. Number one, Lordstown Motors Company just appointed a new chief officer, Dan Navaji, previously CEO of Icahn Enterprises, another automobile company, as well executive vice president of Lear, which Lear, one of the things they do is make seating for autos. So this guy, he's got the chops, okay? And he's got the contacts. Now, let's move here. Mary Barra, GM CEO, was in Lordstown August 18th, 2021. Could this mean something? Right next door. And this was 1 week before Navaji was appointed, so they would have known he was going to be announced. And she visited their Ultium battery facility, which is being built next, which is a 3 million square foot complex to make batteries. This is, 500 feet away from Lordstown Motors. And, Mary Barra has already invested $75 million in General Motors. Does this mean something? Is it a coincidence? I personally think there's something there. I I thought I had. Let's just see if we can go to this. Well, let's just let this go. You guys can copy this. I'm going to leave this down here for 1 second and highlight it. You guys can look this up yourself. Anyway, right next door, a week before the new CEO is appointed, at a battery plant, you know what I mean. You think they talked maybe? You think he maybe talked to her? Or do you think she went over and talked to the interim CEO at Lordstown about what was going on? I don't know. Do you think this was a photo I had of that didn't come through? Anyway, I think that's critical. Now, this is a Navaji interview statement, and this is August 26, 21. Job number one is to make sure we stay on. Without that, you can't raise capital. Okay? So this is a repeat of the other thing. So this, without that, you can't raise capital, you know, my opinion, just in my opinion, Carl Icahn says, look, we're not investing in anything till you guys get this up and running. Maybe not, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they don't even speak anymore. Who knows? Anyway, this is Navaji. While Lordstown is working to launch the insurance truck, it will work in parallel on raising further funds. Okay? Read between the lines. He said, adding, he had spoken with a lot of people from his past, Carl Icahn, since he was named CEO, but not yet Icahn. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Does it matter? I mean, he's got other contacts, but so Icahn probably said, don't call me till you get started production. The finance is going to come when people believe in the product and the production. Okay, so read again, Carl Icahn. As soon as you get that up and running, that's when we're coming in. I don't know. That might not even happen, but that is one of the potential outcomes. If they believe the story and we prove to them that we hit these milestones, SOP and certification, I'll have a lot of friends. Okay, so this is like, yeah, he's a friend of mine. It's like Goodfellas. Spoken with a lot of people from my past, but not yet Icahn. I have a lot of friends. He's a good fella. Okay, is his friend Icahn? I have a lot of friends, investors. Anyway, guys, this is just a little background here. Taps Hertz board member to right the ship. And again, Navaji was a Hertz board member. Hertz went bankrupt, not his fault. I mean, it was a black swan. But that was a Icahn investment. Okay? And Lordstown Motors hired new CEO Don Navaji. Did too much after his previous executor and founder resigned after misleading investors, Navaji comes from I am not a Burns hater. I'm sorry. Or a Julio hater. Navaji comes from an automotive background and recently wrapped up a 7-year stint as a member of Hertz board of directors. And this was a Icahn investment. And if you don't think he talked to Icahn during that period, well, where he helped oversee the rental cars company, very public bankruptcy and restructuring, and hopefully they didn't hire him for that purpose. Anyway, the stake was worth this is the Hertz stake, was worth $342 million at the end of the first quarter. I don't know. This is old news here, I think. But anyway, the point is, this just gives you some idea of the level of investment Icahn's working at, I don't know what search was at that time, $20 a share or something. But anyway, Icahn, he will invest, he'll invest, he can invest up to $1 billion. So anyway, guys, that's it. 30/30. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Conduct your own due diligence and consult a professional before any investment. Ride stock is a pre-revenue SPAC and could result in catastrophic losses. Understand and accept the very real risks involved. All right, guys, I'm probably going to put a close on this. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this information interesting. Took me a while to put it together. Hey, look, if you like this information, do me a solid, will you? Quit being so tight with the clicks. Subscribe, okay? I need subscribers so that I can get this higher in the algorithm so more people can find out about Lordstown. All right, put a like and a comment too. All right, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. Good luck in the market. Okay, hi guys. I'm just wrapping this up. Look, in the little circle down there with the roller skater and the palm trees in it, that's the subscribe button. Give that a smash. Check out my other videos on Lordstown. I got a lot of information on this company. It's going to be breaking out soon. There's information on the hub motors, everything you can imagine. Check out my channel. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Again, the circle with the palm trees and the roller skaters in it, that's a subscribe button. Could you hit it? It's early in the morning here. I can't even talk. See what I do for you guys? Thanks a lot for watching.